Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of South County. I am Amber Collins, and I am the president of the board of directors. I have the legal duty to point out that in the unlikely event of an emergency, you should exit quickly. You can go the way you came in. Please reserve the ramp for people who need it, or help them if you can. You can also exit behind the pulpit or down the hall and to the left. Recognizing that we all have different needs for safety, we are a mask-friendly congregation. If you see someone wearing a mask, please give them a little extra space and be mindful touching. And if you aren't feeling well, even if it seems like just a little cough, please join us by Zoom. It's a sacred time in the week. So let's all turn off or silence our cell phones now, so we can just be present as we celebrate joys and sit in sadness in the fullness of our being. Whatever your economic situation, whatever your citizenship or immigration status, whatever pronouns you prefer, you are welcome here in this congregation of like-hearted individuals dedicated to welcoming, loving, growing spiritually, and seeking justice. I'd like to invite our congregational greeters to rise so everyone can see who you are. If you are a newcomer, we invite you to introduce yourself to one of these good people. They can answer any questions you have. And please fill out the yellow welcome card in your hymnal and put it in the collection basket during the offering. If you're inclined, feel free to introduce yourself during the part of the service we call Joys and Concerns. And newcomers on Zoom, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself to the other participants, especially our virtual usher, who is Ann Seaman today. Is that right?
Mary Fulton.
No, it's Mary Fulton today. I just see Ann Seaman on the Zoom. Hi, Ann. And I invite Lee Cowan, our Director of Religious Education, to come forward and light our chalice.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I invite, actually, Ezra Collins to come light our chalice as I read the words of Katie Savani Gelfand. We light this chalice.
Frogs have a fascinating life cycle. Females lay hundreds and hundreds of eggs, which hatch into tadpoles that then become frogs in a process called metamorphosis. And across the globe, across cultures, across time, they've been considered to be symbols of transformation and abundance and even fertility. Sometimes they're even symbols of spiritual connection. In some cultures, frogs are considered to be symbols or even manifestations of human ancestors. It's no wonder. Frogs are amazing creatures. They have smooth, moist skin that they breathe through so that they can absorb oxygen from air or from water. Their legs are incredibly strong for their size, and they have webbed feet that are perfect for both jumping and swimming. And their huge, bulbous eyes allow them to see behind themselves. And their long, fast-moving, sticky tongues allow them to catch insects that are sometimes feet away. And frogs come in a huge variety of sizes and shapes and colors, and they live in all different kinds of habitats and environments all over the world. They've been around for a very long time, since the time of the dinosaurs. And like butterflies, bees, and some kinds of moss, they are bioindicators, meaning that their collective health can tell us a lot about the health of the planet, the environment, and humanity, which provides a kind of warning for what may be coming environmentally for humans. And frogs, they're reminders that we can change, that we can metamorphose into something else. Humans don't change the way frogs change from tadpoles to frogs, but if we choose to, we can radically transform ourselves into the diverse kinds of people that we want to be. And we can change our world into the kind of place that we want to live in and thrive with joy. So today, as we gather for the first time after summer break, as we always do, we will share water from different places and different sources. All of it sacred, because all water is sacred. And we're doing this inspired by those amphibious creatures who live in water and their amazing ability to change. So this morning, I want to start with a tale from Aesop. I'm sorry? Okay.
I just want to say, if you are small and young, or young at heart, we invite you to come forward because we have this whole space here for our story. We have a story right now and then we have a story later. So come on up. Come on this side.
Come on this side, okay?
This side.
Great.
Come this side. Yeah, come on, Dee. You want to color with us? What are you doing? We're coloring and listening to a story.
We're listening to a story, V.
Yeah. So you want to sit?
Cool. Oh my goodness, and look, there's a bunch of crayons too for those who need them. So this is a really old, so we have two stories for you this morning, and they're connected. But this first one is a really old tale. It's an Aesop tale. The frogs were very tired of governing themselves. They had so much freedom that it had spoiled them. And they did nothing but sit around croaking in a bored manner and wishing for a government that would entertain them with the pomp and display of royalty and rule them in a way to make them know that they were being ruled. No milk and water government for them, thank you very much. So they sent a petition to Jupiter asking for a king. And Jupiter saw what simple and foolish creatures they were, but to keep them quiet and to make them think that they had a king, he threw down an enormous log, which fell into the water with a great splash. And the frogs hid themselves among the reeds and grasses, thinking the new king to be some kind of fearful giant. But they soon discovered how tame and peaceable King Log was. In a short time, the younger frogs were using him for a diving platform, while the older frogs made him a meeting place where they complained loudly to Jupiter about the government. So to teach the frogs a lesson, the ruler of the gods now sent a crane to be king of Frogland. A crane like a bird, not like the mechanical moving thing, right? A big bird. And the crane proved to be a very different sort of king from old King Log. He gobbled up the poor frogs right and left. And they soon saw what fools they had been. In mournful croaks, they begged Jupiter to take away the cruel tyrant before they should all be destroyed. "Hey now," Jupiter cried, "are you not yet content? You have what you asked for, and so you have only yourselves to blame for your misfortune." Aesop fables are really something, aren't they? I mean, so according to Aesop, the moral of this fable is, Be sure you can better change your condition before you seek change.
We will now recite the covenant together. Please rise and body your spirit. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may be seated.
So in California, I, for a while, for about 9 years, lived across the street from an elevated commuter rail, which had running alongside of it for about 500 feet a retaining wall that was a good 15 feet high. And for the better part of each year, there was this narrow strip of water, sometimes just a few inches wide, that went for blocks and blocks and blocks. And over time, this little tiny narrow strip of water became a legitimate pond. It was this long, super skinny, shallow little pond, but it was full of life, including millions of tiny little red frogs that would croak all night long. It could get deafening. And every night when they started croaking, every now and then, suddenly, they would just stop croaking. And then a few seconds later, in the distance, you could hear it. There was a train approaching. So they stopped way before humans could hear it. They were warning us, the train is coming, there's danger. And then after the train had whooshed past, it would take a little bit, but then they would start croaking again. And they started all at once. It wasn't like one and slowly, like all at once they started, like there was a cue. They were attuned to each other and the possible dangers of their environment. And there are people in our community whose lives are fragile right now here in South County. And many have to make a choice between eating and paying rent while the others can't afford a place to live at all. So the Johnny Cake Center does everything that it can to be attuned to the dangers facing many of us, to warn the rest of us about what's coming. And one of the things that they do is running the Johnny Cake Market, which last year alone offered 20,000 bags of groceries to almost 2,000 families throughout the year, which is a really good thing because last year, a lot of children received meals during school vacations, 55% more than the preceding year. So the need is real. Johnny Cake Market gets most of its food from the Rhode Island Food Bank, but they also need cash to buy discounted foods from local vendors. And this is how we can be helpful. We can share our cash donation this morning with them so they can help our neighbors survive whatever is coming their way. Today's offering will now be split with the Johnny Cake Food Pantry. All plate cash will go toward the amount to be shared. And if you want to contribute by check, please make sure and make your check payable to UCSC and put shared collection in the memo line. This morning's offering will now be accepted. Thank you, Will. And thank you all for being here at the beginning of what I know is going to be a great congregational year, for showing up with so much joy and enthusiasm and energy to see each other. And thank you for these gifts that we, your staff, your board, your lay leaders, promise to use wisely and generously.
After the king. A few of the frogs were comforted by the presence of the crane. It was what they had wanted after all. Some frogs didn't much notice the crane because the crane wasn't harming them personally. But most frogs were very aware of its presence and they felt threatened. And with good reason. The crane didn't care about any of them. The community of frogs were just obstacles in the water, something to be gotten rid of or used for his own gain. Some of those frogs, those are the ones that were very angry or afraid, those whose hearts were bursting and they had to do something, the ones who were really paying attention to what was happening, those frogs gathered in secret, in a safe place too small and too dark for the crane to access. And they talked about how they felt. They heard one another's stories of fear, stories of frogs who had been hurt or had gone missing. And after a while of sharing these stories and consoling each other and honoring one another's grief, they knew that they had to do something. They wanted to send a message to the crane. So, they thought about what that message should be and how they should present it so that it could really grab the crane's attention. And remember, that crane is giant compared to the frogs, so they had to think of something that could get across. They wanted to tell that crane, you are not the king of us. We will not live under your tyranny. And we will not let our lives be controlled by fear. And so they created a giant frog. A big green frog with a colorful body and huge watchful eyes. A frog that carried a sign bearing their message, their declaration, their demand. No kings. They named that frog Henry Penelope Sunflower. We got to show the folks on Zoom. Hold on a second. All right. So Henry Penelope Sunflower wasn't a god that the frogs prayed to. Henry Penelope Sunflower wasn't a king that made all their decisions for them. Henry Penelope Sunflower was a manifestation of everything they hoped for, everything they wished to see happen for themselves and for their children and for their children's children. Henry Penelope Sunflower was a symbol of their own power, of the strength of community that they created when they worked together to make their own decisions and govern themselves in a way that takes care of all of them, especially the most vulnerable among them. The frogs created Henry Penelope Sunflower because they wanted change. And if there is one thing that frogs know about, it's change. Metamorphosis. Because frogs change from eggs to tadpoles to froglets to fully formed adult frogs, each stage different than the last. And frogs know that change doesn't come quickly. We have to be patient and thoughtful and a little crafty and a little wise. But the more we are open to change, the more dramatic it is and the more magical it is, the more powerful the metamorphosis is. They know that every community that's rooted in love and mutual respect can say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we want to see. We can metamorphose into something greater. So, as many of you are aware, the Wonder Academy of Metamorphosis happened this summer for our second year, for 1 week. And the Wonder Academy of Metamorphosis was many things. We created many different things, and many lives were changed. All ages from 4 years old to almost 80 years old. I get all choked up.
participated in justice workshops every day of the week. We also had apprenticeships where we learned from each other some really valuable skills on different paths of apprenticeships. And during all of it, we were growing our magical characters, and we were also growing our own magic and our own character. We all transformed a little or a lot, and we all stepped into this new phase of our metamorphosis on this path of life. And we had awards that we handed out at the end of the week, and all the kids and all the adults got an award. But there is one award that was missing from my stack of awards. And I don't know how it happened, but it must have been, serendipity. And so I have one award to hand out right now. And it is the Weaver of Wonder Award on land, pond, and sea. And it goes to Myriophyllum. And we just love all of our volunteers so much. Juice, can you give this to me? And this is a collective thank you to all of the volunteers. There were 17 of you that came and volunteered your time and spent really valuable time with our kids and just creating the community that we want to see in the world and the change that we know that we are. So this is a song that we sang, and it's a walking song by one of my favorite duos, singer-songwriter duos. This place, I love that you all just get up and do the things that I ask you to do. It's so great. It's such a blessing, it really is. I'm so blessed to be here. Thank you, Henry, Penelope Sunflower, and thank you to the humans who animated him.
I think Henry and Penelope used to stay there.
I was wondering about that. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. If anybody didn't hear, Henry Penelope uses they, them pronouns, now we know. Okay, so, so Henry is a giant puppet, and as we have heard, they are a symbol of this great change that we can make in the world, just like frogs do. And we are that indicator of change. It's bubbling and brewing and boiling in this space right now. We are creating that change. And so for our water communion today, we're gonna invite you to bring up water if you have brought a little vial, or if you even have a water bottle or any type of water from any source. We also have a pitcher of water from our very own sacred well in the kitchen. And we invite you in this water communion today, we invite you to share one way that you can manifest the metamorphosis you want to see in the world. So that was like a couple big M words. Manifest, metamorphosis. So that means what is one step you can take? What's one change you can make? What's one decision that will bring us all closer to the change that we want to see in the world? So that is what we're inviting in today as you share your water, to offer a sharing of how you are creating change. I'm gonna start, and then you can make a line over somewhere. Maybe just up the middle aisle, and then you can figure it out. Great. So I have this tiny bottle that I've had for maybe 20 years, and it's Waters of the World. And it's from gatherings all over the world where people do this same thing that we're doing. And all add water from all the places they've been and have sacred ceremony around that water. And then at the end of the ceremony, everyone can take a little bit of that. And the water is infused with all the waters from all over. And then that is brought to a new ceremony and added to. And so at the end of all of our water communions, I add a drop of that. I take it home and boil it, add a drop of that to this.
And the water that's already in this chalice is water from last year's water communion, which also has water from many, many previous water communions in that. So it's this sacred chain of of coming back together and making the change that we want to see. One change, one step that I'm taking is conscious breathing.
So this water comes from where it always comes from. The dehumidifier in my basement. Because I think there's something really magical out of creating something from seemingly nothing. And that's the change that I want to continue to do. And this year, I really want to focus on being present in a new way with my neighbors that I don't agree with. Because it's a tense place where I live. So how about if we have people come up and line up along this wall, go in the front of the altar, and then go back up the center. I think that way we'll be able to, yeah, so, and I can move that.
Well, basically, I have a frog story for the water. Save the frogs. Many years ago in Davis, California, people were concerned that there were a bunch of frogs that were going across the road and that they were getting killed. So they, in their great wisdom, they decided to spend $1 million to make a tunnel underneath the road, as if the frogs would basically be able to figure out, use the tunnel and not go over the road. Well, that didn't work so well, but I think one of the things that was really wonderful with this was in the middle of the night, someone created Toad Town. At the end of the tunnel, they had a little saloon and a hotel and a restaurant. And I think that that was probably the best thing that could have happened for the frogs. So that's my water story.
Wonderful.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Hi. The one change I'm trying to make is to show up.
Here's my water bottle. Fresh water from Warwick. Exciting. I want to make a change this year to take a breath and be a little calmer and kinder to myself. The work will get done. It'll be okay. I'm allowed to breathe. Michelle. Yes. Warwick. Step all the way down.
Hello, this is my water bottle from choir, which brings me so much joy. And I am pledging to be more consciously aware as I go through the day of those around me and what's happening in the world.
This is water from the Ingathering Pond, where I love to kayak. And I want to have more intention in my life.
This is water from that fell last night from the rain that fell in our garden and our lawn and around our house.
I'm just trying to take a lot of deep breaths.
And I want to show up.
Show up.
That's right, show up. This is water right here.
Yeah.
And that's because I decided to show up and join the choir again.
Yay!
peace in my heart and not polarize in my heart and try not to hold as much pain and anger towards what I see as injustice or meanness. So pausing before I act. Thank you. Strider.
Good morning, this is filtered water from my refrigerator. And my intent is to donate more and to volunteer more of my time for those causes that are important for us.
Thank you.
So we started to use. And do you want to tell us what is from? We worked very hard this year to collect water from one of our most treasured places. Larkin's Pond, and also the Wonder Academy of Metamorphosis met at Larkin's Pond for one of the days, and we had such a wonderful day of community that I think our way of making the world better is to have more fun together. And so Larkin's Pond is definitely that for so many of us.
Thank you.
I brought purified water from my house that it's water that my whole family drinks. It's hard to think of a change. There's like so many changes I want to make, but I think the first one, before I can actually do anything actionable, is to not always be absorbing everyone's feelings as if feeling those feelings will somehow fix their problems. It's just going to make me feel worse and nothing will get done. So yeah, my name is Sarah.
The water's from Hope Valley.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna clean up more trash. Thank you.
My name is Missy Powell. This is our first time here, and we're enjoying it. And so yeah, I think I agree with what a lot of people have said, is just be more present, be more aware. Thank you, Savannah.
Hi, I'm Mary, and I've got some good old Cold Springs water that I want to add. And I want to be more present. I want to be more present, and I think people should be kinder to each other.
I'm Sally, and this water is representative of the water used to cleanse people who need help. And my inspiration is to remember the stillness of a calm pond and try to remember that in times of need.
I'm Dave. I am seeking to change the world by being blissful. And this was rainwater from last night.
Thank goodness for the rain.
I'm Sandy. I'll be more mindful. I'll show up more protest. And I am going to pick up trash and give money to Ocean Conservancy. And without the oceans, we don't have a planet. And I don't have water because I only went to the beach once this summer. I didn't have many water places that I went. So I'm gonna pour a little water, save the water. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I am recognizing how important communities like this and all kinds of communities that we participated in our lives. I am pledging to be more present within those communities. This is water from the Queens River in Muscatine.
Hi, I'm Barbara. This is also rainwater from last night. It was in this morning. It was so wonderful to have rain finally. And I pledge to show up for more protests and things as well. And also I'm trying to grow milkweed in my yard. I'm Penny. I don't have any water, so I'm going to use the sacred water because I'm pledging to use water more sparingly. Winter.
Hi everybody, I'm Scott Kimball. This water is straight from the tap in our kitchen, and I pour it in honor of wonderful times by the ocean this summer with friends and family. And I commit to remaining more centered, breathing more deeply, and showing more kindness.
Julia, you want to come up? Julia, you want to say your name?
Julia.
And what does that spell, everybody?
You want to say something about water? Water.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I'm Sharon, I'm Julia's Gigi, and I just want to say that this is from our well. And I've been trying to be most grateful for everything good in my life, because there's, so much bad politics and stuff. But anyway, so I am grateful that when I turn on my faucet, there's water to drink, and it's clean, and it's drinkable, and I'm grateful that when I step in my shower, the water is there and it's hot. So
it is, it's such a miracle.
Hi, I'm Paul. I remember watching an interview with Mr. Rogers one time. He said his mother told him, if you see a tragedy on TV, don't be upset, just look for the helpers. And that helped him get through it. A couple of days ago, I was at Aldi and I helped somebody separate shopping carts. She couldn't get it apart, and just something like that, I hope to do a lot more of, whenever I see it possible. She seemed to be pretty appreciative and it made me feel good. So my goal to help is not to upset Mr. Rogers.
Thank you. It's a worthy goal.
Hi, I'm Betty. Ooh, I'm choked up. So, the real water is coming from my eyes. I'm so happy to see you. And this other water is from my sink. It's representing the water at Harwich Beach where we take all of Ken's children and grandchildren for a week every summer. And I pledge and promise to do my best to follow through on all the good impulses that seem to come up within me, and sometimes I quash them from fear of people's judgment or
whatever. So I'm just gonna be me.
I am Kelsey, and my children, Benjamin and Roman, we have water from our rain barrel that we collected, so thankful for the rain, for our garden, and all the plants, and I think that compassion and understanding are needed.
Do you want to say your names?
Compassion and understanding.
Thank you, good to see you.
So I'm Chris, my grandkids and my daughter, and this is one from Nantucket where we were fortunate to spend some time with all of our grandchildren and all of our children. It's a very special place to us. And Taylor and I also celebrated a milestone. We celebrated our wedding anniversary. It was our 50th wedding anniversary. And my word is love, and for myself, to spend more time with creative expression.
Good morning, I'm Louise and this is Will, and this is water representative of the Hubbard Glacier in Alaska. And unfortunately, in front of our eyes, we see it dissolving, and we see due to global warming how much of the glaciers and the icebergs are actually melting and changing our world. So our thoughts are that we would be more in line with making sure that we do our part and making sure that we help our incredible country that we live in stay a safe place and a healthy place for all.
On the plus side, we spent more water. We spent a lot of time on the beach with our family and friends this summer. It was a beautiful summer. We're just blessed to be here, to live here. I think everyone knows that.
Thank you for this drink of water. I'm Mary, and the frogs and the cranes compelled me to speak. I was at the large concert venue in Mansfield, Massachusetts last night, and there was a heavily armed presence around physical guns, and while I was sitting watching this beautiful concert, I was fearful, and for a brief second, I said, oh, thank goodness we have protection, and then, no. My resolution is, whenever I feel fear, I will consciously choose to feel love. Love is the opposite of fear.
I'm Amber Collins, and this water represents water in the little river that I got to step in this year in Freedom, New Hampshire. And my resolution is listen.
My name is Murphy, and this water represents Potter's Pond.
Yeah. And that's the pond by your house, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Leave a little room. Thank you.
pleasing, the sacred water. It represents water from Sand Hill Cove Beach, which after 40 years in Rhode Island, I went to for the first time and spent wonderful time with my family there. Yeah, I have so many intentions, but one is just to be more aware and pay attention and to follow through on my intentions. That's the hard part, the follow through. I'm Eileen, and this water is from the salt pond where we spent many days on our little boat this summer. It was a real joy. And my resolution is to maintain hope and hopefully radiate that out because we need so much.
My intention is less judgment.
My name's Johnny, and this water is a blessing from the rain. And I want it to remind us all to resist, to rally, to rise up, and for me, to write about it all.
My name is Jean, and this water is from the famous Oak Street in Wakefield. And I intend to remain angry. I can't sit by and let this be normalized. So I will continue to speak out every way I can. Social media, in person, in print, wherever.
My name is Adria, and this water is from my new home on Quiet Way. And I've moved from North Kingstown where the water is much better and there's no water shortage. And I'm living in a place where now there's water shortage and the water doesn't taste good. It's very interesting to have going through the shift. So I'm working with water. I'm working with water in my life in a very conscious way. And my intention, the Buddhists that I'm hanging out with are talking about the two wings of the Baru, which are wisdom and compassion. And I always love wisdom, so I have a strong focus on the compassion wing this year.
Hi, my name is Anne, and we just were graced to purchase a home in the same community, and we're in Comfort Lane. And we just feel so blessed. We lived here, we retired to Florida, and we just bought a home here that was about 6 months in Rhode Island. And this is the water from Morgan's Pond, where we are so blessed to be present to each day. And my commitment is to realize and know that peace that God has given me in each breath, that I am a conduit for that peace in my life.
My name is Susan, and I live down the street from Adria on a quiet way, and it's very quiet and beautiful. And this water is from Warden's Pond, like Anne's. And I drive by it at least twice every day, and every time I drive by it, my spirit is renewed, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful sight every time I'm here. And my intention is to smile more at each person I meet along the way. And that way I increase the oxytocin in myself and the oxytocin in other people. And that is the feel-good hormone.
That's right. Thank you. I'm gonna pour one more bit of water for all the intentions and resolutions and choices that we're carrying in our hearts that were not spoken out loud, but that we know we will be cultivating in this coming season. And I forgot to say that this chalice was our chalice for the Wonder Academy of Metamorphosis, and the shells and stones that are in here are representative of the work that we did together each day. And so now we have all of our love and intention from the wider community held in this water. And we will save some of it for next year, and that cycle will continue on. So thank you for being part of that. And thank you for the seeds of transformation and metamorphosis that we are all planting here together every time we gather, and as we take it out into the world with our smiles and our oxytocin. And may these seeds grow and bloom and create the world that we've been waiting for.
We will now be singing hymn 1064.
So before we go, I have a few really brief announcements. On Tuesday at 11:30, the staff and volunteers of the Wonder Academy will meet to review our August week together to name what worked well, what we can improve upon, and what we'd like to see in the future. So if you were a volunteer and you would like to join us for lunch, and you haven't responded to Lee yet, please do so. We'd like to see you. On Wednesday at 1, the coordinating council will meet by Zoom, and that's all the committee chairs. So if you are one of those folks, please be there. We need your presence. On Thursday, we'll be gathering for beverages and banter at 1 at the Queen of Cups in Narragansett. And it's a first for us to be meeting there. So if you know of other places to go together outside of South Kingstown, please let me know. And as always, if you come on Thursday and you're short on cash, please let me buy for you. Also wanted to let you know about the WOW lunch. This is for women of wisdom, and that's all women and all wisdom. That's going to be at the Mariner Grill in Narragansett tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. So this is the end of our service. And it's also the beginning of a new congregational year together. May we go out into the days and weeks and months to come, aware of our environment and the dangers it faces, ready to help our neighbors in times of need, willing to change, even when it's hard, and able, even though it may not feel like it, to preserve democracy and real freedom in any way that we can. May this be a year of metamorphosis.
We extinguish this chalice, but not its light, that we take with us out into the world, sharing it with those we encounter on our journey.
So let's all rise now.